What's a skill that everyone should have? Basic first aid, alongside cooking and basic shelter construction, and you can potentially live off those 3 things alone. A Red Cross survey showed a staggering 59% of deaths from injuries would have been preventable had first aid been given before the emergency services arrived. So many lives could have saved by knowing just few things. Here are 10 basic first aid procedures. Linked to all articles will be in the description of the video, homie. Knowing when it's better to keep one's mouth shut. Ugh, I'm terrible at this. I always feel like sharing what I know or just breaking the silence. I have 2 modes. Not being able to shut the heck up or being so uncomfortable I say about 3 words per hour. You'd think I'd be able to figure out how to balance these and meet somewhere in the middle, but no. I used to be verbose. 4 things helped me change. 1. The saying that goes something like this: those who have the most to say the least. 2. I learn more when I'm listening. 3. I learned that my urge to break silence wasn't because I like to talk. It was because silence causes tension, anxiety, and we talk to break that tension. Silence can actually be great. See number 4. 4. If you can sit in silence with another person without tension, it shows how comfortable you are with that individual. I only posted this in case it might help you. I don't like to give advice, especially when it hasn't been requested. However, in this case I feel like these were hard for me to learn, and I said so many stupid things before learning these concepts. I'd be happy for you if you find them helpful. 2. Basic understanding of taxes and financials, especially budgeting. Budgeting for sure. It's really not that hard, honestly. If not budgeting, at least track spending. But I can't take that raise. It'll push me into the next tax bracket and I'll make less money. So many people believe this, it's just not funny. Learn how to read your paycheck. Understand what taxes are taken out, what insurances are taken out, what you are getting paid for, and keep track of your hours or salary. Make sure you are being paid what you should be. If parents can teach their kids critical thinking, cooking, basic economy, and how to not be a big fat meanie, they'll do alright. The rest is just nice to have. Learn how to apologize. It's okay to be wrong sometimes, and a gesture to rectify the situation after saying sorry goes a long way. This is important for people who use Reddit. People refuse to accept that they are wrong and just start arguing for no reason. You messed up. Stuff happens. Learn from it. Move on. I prefer the double down till I die method. Keeps me from losing face, but also makes me lose friends. Win-win. If you want to spice things up, just start pulling out some logical fallacies. I like to pack a straw man full of my insecurities and projection and launch it at my victim. To listen before talking. I hate it when I'm about to explain something but someone interrupts me right before it edit. Talking too much is just as bad. Create opportunities for others to respond. Someone once told me listen with the intent to hear, not to speak, and it's been really good advice. Learning how to learn makes learning other things much easier. How does one learn how to learn? There is a free course on Coursera, and it's worth it. Edit. Here is the link. I put the link in the description of this video. How am I supposed to learn how to learn if I don't know how to learn? This is huge. I can't even explain it, but it's like a self-awakening. Most people don't know that they don't know how to learn because they are still getting by in life with minor or little to no issues. This was huge for me. I honestly got lucky when I got to my first job and had a fantastic mentor who actually demonstrated this so well. You could explain the hard wiring of a complicated electric circuit and he could probably learn the whole thing just listening to you. Now I know that's just an example, but his ability to listen and process information and just dissect a situation or lab process and think 3 moves ahead on what would happen next or what the likely outcome would be was so incredible. And it made me objectively analyze myself, and it really helped me to better myself in that area. Learning how to learn is a huge life skill. Being able to swim, you don't need to be any good at it, but you should feel safe around bodies of water. Critical thinking. The ability to critically analyze a situation is imperative for navigating personal and professional relationships. This and self-reflection, I'd add. This. If you know people with no self-awareness, you probably have a desire to punch them regularly. I've had to eliminate them all from my life as I've gotten older. When you have self-awareness, you will always mentally outpace those who don't, leading to problems. All my close friends now are actively working to better themselves, even if slowly. It's also increasingly important in the current media landscape. Being able to recognize a fake source of information has gotten more difficult, and there's a ton of propaganda out there that relies on people's lack of critical thinking skills. People love to rag on liberal arts degrees, but a good education can take you a long way. Laundry. When I was 8 months into my freshman year of university, there was one person in my classes who was basically bragging about not knowing how to use a washer or dryer. So when we pressed about what he's been wearing for 8 months, he said he was just re-wearing the same clothes. He dropped out because he was incapable of living by himself. There were other students who persevered in university with bad hygiene, severe weight gain, and other problems, all from utter lack of self-preservation. It was honestly scary, seeing the transformation of these dumb 18-19-year-olds, when they tried to be adults for the first time. I work in student accommodation, and we see so many of these people. Fun fact, it's apparently possible to survive on nothing but Cocoa Pops for 6 months, although that guy was just a very picky eater, so not necessarily unable to cook, just didn't want to. There was also a student who'd come from a country where it's quite normal for the wealthy to have household staff, and asked me to show her how to boil an egg. She'd never seen boiling water before and was absolutely transfixed by it bubbling in the pan. She did get better though. Saw her again a few months later and she was very proud of the roast duck she'd made. Kitchen looked like a war zone though. She never got the hang of cleaning up. Time management edit 1. For few of those who want some tips about it. Time management is basically prioritizing your work so that you can make most out of the fixed amount of time you have. Here are a few tips that I follow. 1. Every night create a list of work that needs to be done next day and order them in such a way that most important tasks are done first while maintaining a logical sequence of workflow. 2. At the end of the day check if you have done important things or not. 3. Try to avoid procrastination. You have to do the work anyway. Doing it in later point in time will only put you in stressful situation. 4. Do some exercise or meditation. Even simply walking can help a lot. 5. If you are unclear about what to do first today, just after waking up do the daily chores and take a bath. It will really put you in a relaxed mood so you can think better. It worked for me. 6. Keep around 1 hour for yourself every day to do things that you enjoy. After all, we are humans, not machines. Remember, don't consider time as a resource which gets replenished after 24 hours. It is the only resource that you are dying for. If you are enjoying this video, please like it. It helps my channel grow. Cooking. As someone who has been trying to learn and only finds really random stuff when they search, what would be some good resources for learning the basics of cooking? Basics with Babish or Gordon Ramsay's Ultimate Cookery course are decent to watch. Good Eats on the Cooking channel doesn't just teach you recipes but the science and methods. Reddit/Cooking for Beginners has been invaluable. I've been cooking for a number of years, but I always get great tips from this sub. Sewing. Especially if you buy cheap clothes on the internet. Just being able to reattach buttons keeps you from throwing a shirt out when a few fall off. But I've even gone as far as to buy a sewing machine so I can tailor my own clothes to fit me, since slim fit shirts are hard to come by, and the ones I do find lack proper shoulder width. This has made owning clothing so much easier and less of a pain in the to buy. This actually meshes with the survivalwoodsy stuff as well. I made a little Altoid tin backup survival kit with small versions of a couple basic and useful things. Pen knife, fire steel, compass, Ziploc bag and water purification tablets, emergency whistle, band-aids, etc. But the most used part of it on our multi-day backpacking trip was the needle and fishing line I put in as an afterthought. If you're carrying everything you need to live on your back, repairing your gear can become pretty important pretty fast. Communication skills. Communication skills can be practiced simply by having conversations. Even if you're really awkward and weird, there's probably at least someone who will hold a conversation with you. And it's kind of like doing a sport. Not everyone is good at it, and if you have something like anxiety, or asthma in sports case, then it's harder for you than it is for others, but not impossible. Spatial awareness. Don't stand in the middle of a sidewalk. right in front of a doorway, or leave your shopping cart blocking an entire aisle. Don't block the exit door of a store either. You can put away your receipt or bag box your stuff elsewhere. Before living in Chicago, I used to try to squeeze by and not disturb the other person. Now I just say beep beep. Coming through. You would be surprised how often people jump to get out of the way. I have a dog, and if he's in the way I tell him scoot scoot in a really chipper tone. Enough, it's apparently become a habit. Have done this to multiple people in grocery store. They are always pretty confused but still move, so I guess dog commands also work. My great aunt just rams them with her cart to push them out of the way. I only took her shopping once. It really made me understand why her driver's license was taken away. Aunt Sally was born with one frick to give, and that was spent decades ago. Beep beep mother trucker. Hee hee ha ha ha. Hi friends, if you enjoyed this video please like it and subscribe, or don't. I'm not your boss.